I attempted to run a full marathon in North Korea. For 6 years, the country's been closed to foreigners, but a special opportunity came up where it'd be possible to enter as an amateur athlete competing in the race. So I actually signed up. But only 24 days before the race, and after backpacking through Asia for 6 months, I was not in very good shape. To make things even worse, I was traveling in Mongolia and Russia during the winter at that moment, but there was no other choice than to begin my 3-week training block in the negative 30-degree temperatures. I have a strong background in endurance sports, and I finished 2 marathons and an Ironman before, but competing with no real training for 6 months terrified me. It did not help when I found out the cutoff time to finish in the stadium was a blazing 3.5 hours, which is 8 minutes a mile. The DNF time was 4.5 hours, and I did not want to find out what happened if you didn't finish the race either. One of my unique challenges to training was avoiding alcohol, which was basically impossible traveling through Russia, but I couldn't really say no. At this point, you might be saying, Alex, Americans are currently banned from going to North Korea, which is true on a US passport. The logistics of this trip were insane, and the only reason I could actually go was a loophole through my dual citizenship with Mexico. Most people don't know my dad was born in Mexico, and I only claimed my dual citizenship last summer when I realized I was a citizen by birth. Unfortunately, China is the only place that flies to North Korea, which meant the next step was applying for a multiple entry visa there. Chinese visas are the easiest to get from South Korea, so after a night in the Beijing airport, I made it to Seoul. I spent a week shopping for actual running shoes and going to the Chinese visa center, but slowly things were coming together. I got in a few training runs, but honestly was not feeling prepared at all because my longest run was about 6 miles. Next was the North Korean visa, so I flew to Beijing early, and the tour company I was going with helped massively with this process, so they got it done the same day. I half thought this opportunity was too good to be true, and they canceled the race, but the morning of my flight, I showed up at the airport with butterflies in my stomach and actually flew into North Korea. I had a ton of misconceptions when arriving, and after driving the course directly from the airport, we made it to the hotel where I was so excited to see what was in store for the following morning. Follow me if you want to see what happens.